Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. It's Trump versus Obama in a battle over architecture. You're going to have to listen to this because it's quite hilarious. And I think you're going to really appreciate what Trump had to say about Barack Obama and his presidential library. And it's quite interesting. But before we get into the story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, the President of the United States was at the Oval Office when he was asked about his thoughts regarding the Obama Presidential Library, which was recently unveiled. And of course, Trump being somewhat of an expert on architecture, given his designs of the Trump Hotel and Mar-a-Lago and his renovations at the White House. And he has, well, exquisite taste in a lot of regards. He had some unkind words to say about Obama's library, but he said it in some jest. You'll have to watch and give us your thoughts.
You're building your ballroom right now. They're also building the Obama Presidential Library. I'm wondering if you've
He needs help.
Have you seen pictures of the archicture? And
Yeah,
what do you think
I did.
of it?
It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You know, you call it some museum, and usually they call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. And the construction workers are standing out there and saying, we want to be able to build it. You know, I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country. And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we used the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that he get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget, and I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories, but that's the way our country was run under President Obama too. Nobody knew it.
So Trump was actually being nice compared to some on social media who had to look at Obama's library. This is from someone that I thought was pretty funny. Trash can or presidential library, you make the call. But it's interesting to see the narrative war that is taking shape over this, because Gavin Newsom and some of his acolytes in the left stream press, they are trying to hit Trump back with his White House renovations. And of course, he's expanding the White House to include a ballroom. And they claim that he's like wrecking the White House or destroying it to some extent. It's kind of hilarious because, well, if you are expanding a home, you're going to have to like take out a wing, or you're going to have to do some renovations. It's not always going to look pretty, but I think one of the best comebacks that I've ever seen when it comes to hitting back against these sort of flaky narratives comes from the Trump war room. And Gavin Newsom, well, he was broadsided with a response nailed to the wall. His Capitol renovations, they are assessed at about $1.1 billion. And that's, well, 4 times the cost of the White House renovations. Let's check out the report. You weigh in with your thoughts about this scuffle. I find it quite amusing. And we always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.
Why will a new office building for California lawmakers cost as much as an NFL stadium? That's a question we've been asking California's legislative leaders overseeing the Capitol Annex project. Live Copter 3 flew over, getting this exclusive look at the progress crews have made. The $1.1 billion project is supposed to cover costs for the office building, parking garage, and a new visitor center.
But it will also include private hallways for lawmakers that allow them to avoid the public and avoid us, the media. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala has been digging into this plan and has an update.
This new office building in Sacramento is going to be one of the most expensive buildings in the United States. And yes, California taxpayers are footing the bill. Even though the lawsuits against it have been over, the California legislature, which is in charge of it, continues to keep details in the dark. Steel beams are up and construction is underway on the Capitol Annex project. The $1.1 billion construction and counting will eventually house the offices of lawmakers, the governor, and lieutenant governor. It'll cost about as much as Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara and more than the Golden One Center in Sacramento. But we still don't know why or how the money is being spent.
Motion passes.
The legislature's Joint Rules Committee overseeing the project still won't give a public update, even though lawsuits against it have been over for 6 months. No one with Joint Rules would do an interview with us on Monday, but officials confirmed there are now no plans to construct the visitor center on the west side of the historic Capitol. But even without that part, they said the budget for the project overall won't change. Does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
Dick Cowan is the ex-chairman of the Historic State Capitol Commission and is part of the group that sued over the project.
Among the many questions we have is, what's the project going to cost now? Has it continued to rise as it did over the last years? When will the project be complete? They have all that information, probably in a monthly report they receive from the builders, the designers, and the management team.
But information has been tough to get. As we reported last year, more than 2,000 people involved in the project signed non-disclosure agreements, legally requiring some lawmakers, government officials, and others to keep quiet about what's going on. The cost estimate has more than doubled since 2018, and the NDAs are still in place.
I think this building is already a tremendous strain on taxpayers. And at the end of the day, it's been gone about in a way that has lacked transparency at every step of the way.
The main way we're able to get information lately is through leaks. The latest, the new building will have private hallways for lawmakers, allowing them to avoid the public and media after they debate and vote in hearing rooms. Multiple sources told KCRA3 the leader of the state Senate, Mike McGuire, confirmed this to a room full of lobbyists earlier this month. He would not do an interview, but confirmed this in a statement. He called the hallways, quote, safe corridors, claiming they have them now in their temporary office building. He said they are, quote, designed to help ensure the safety and security of lawmakers, which is even more important today, given the events that unfolded on January 6th at our nation's Capitol building and the active threats public officials continue to face.
I think this is the height of hypocrisy. You are using taxpayer dollars to build a taxpayer-funded facility, and yet you are going to design it in a way that shields you from the public, and shields you from accountability.
Now, with those private hallways for lawmakers, we've asked for diagrams, documents, anything that can shine a little more light onto what exactly that entails. We are still waiting to hear back. Project leaders say they do plan to give a public update at some point this year. Reporting at the state capitol, Ashley Zavala, KCRA3 News.
Officials also saying that the project update will include a new estimated completion date. Also, no information on added costs because of the lawsuit that delayed the construction.